G'day all, and welcome back to the Murder Valley YouTube channel. I've managed to pick up some bodies. I didn't have AFX ones that I've got here, which is the G-Ready LMP and the Camel F1 body, which is on a turbo chassis, and it's the earlier model turbo body. But as much as I really love collecting my original type bodies, which I do to a certain degree, I also resin cast bodies. Some of you may or may not know the history of some of the bodies that I've done. Some of you may have known I've done a few. Some of you may not have any clue at all. So I'm going to run through. So some of these are quite old. So these ones here, this is one of the first ones. It's Mazda RX-3. I did these ones for Tommy Turbo Chassis, and this is a Honda Civic, the early model Honda Civic, and BMW 2002. Now I used to brag about how strong my resin bodies were, and I used to show everyone how strong this was, and I used to pick this up and throw it at the ground and bounce it and do all sorts of things, until eventually one day when I did it, it actually broke. But this body is very strong, but yeah, it eventually broke. I mean, come on, you throw something at concrete enough, and eventually it's going to break. But yeah, very, very solid. The RX-3 was a bit of a learning curve. That was learning how to cast, learning how to make a body that could compete in racing. Since I've done these bodies, we've moved on to racing the Bulldog. So all of these bodies here, they're all for Bulldog. So I reckon my most successful body that I've done is this one here, which is the is an S15 Sylvia, or 200 SX as they were sold in Australia. This thing's a bit of a heavyweight, but yeah, it clips onto the Bulldog. It's a 1.6, so it uses the longer wheelbase that the chassis has on offer. It handles very, very well. It's a little bit heavy, but we run them at 12.5 volts on our tracks, and the weight with the foam tires, they work. They're a really nice little combo. Then there's the Morris Minor 1000. I've shown this thing a few times. Look, it's copped a bit of battle damage, but this has got a different motor in it. Brass weights front and rear. This motor also has ball bearings in it, front and rear. Don't know how well you can see, but yeah. And then I've had a crack at pinning the rear axle. It's got Jag TR3 rims on it, because they're the same dimension as Tommy rims. I think all in all, this is sort of a cool little package, this thing. The FJ, I think it's FJ45, I think they are. But anyway, Land Cruiser Ute. Started out life as a Hot Wheels, to make room for the chassis, and like, oh, this thing is tight. I actually had to raise the floor up of the tray to get this to clear. But it's pretty cool, that thing. I reckon, Porsche 911 73 model RSR. To fit on the Bulldog, I had to get this one, and I had to move the back wheel arch back a little bit, but I've put the flares on it. Sort of hides it a little bit, but this thing drives really well. We will be racing this thing in the Newcastle Ho Racing League starting early next year. I've got a few bodies here I've done for Mega G Plus 1.7. This one's a bit dog-eared. It was really good, and then I left my slot car stuff in the back of my car one day in the sun, and as you can see, it's quite warped and sad looking, but still handles really well. These actually out handle the AFX Mega G Plus. Where is one? Here we go. So these bodies here, like the Malm, these handle pretty good, but these things leave them for dead. I put it down to a few things, but part of it's the style of mounts that I use, and then of course of how low we get them. Yeah, someone's trying to ring me. But there, so what I do is I put posts in them with screws. The rear screws line up and sit on top of the magnet, and the front sits in the slot there on the front of the guide pin. So where it clips into the chassis, I use that slot and I clip those in. So it's literally quick release, and it's height adjustable, so you can adjust it in the front, you can adjust it in the back. Happy for other people to copy this in their resin cast bodies, that's fine, but just know where you got it from first. Like just do the right thing and honour me with where you got the design from. But here's the HQ Monaro, same deal. There we go. But yeah, this thing's been raced. This thing's battle damaged. The XB Falcon Coupe, same deal. It's got the same mounts. I cannot see through the camera. But yeah, so these things, we race these together. I've always had a thing about wanting to race, like wanting to make bodies. We can have different bodies where they can race together and be competitive with each other. So this one over here, I built a set of 6 lifelike cars that were all exactly the same. Found it a bit of a struggle for the lifelike M chassis to get bodies. Never really seen anyone resin cast bodies for an M chassis before, but there you go. I'm not saying they don't exist, I'm just saying I haven't seen them. But same sort of theories as what I do with building mounts for all the rest of them, and they just clip on. Again, a bit battle damaged, because when we have newbies come and race with us, these come out sometimes. Got a couple of bodies here, so these two are the Beetle. Probably my worst fitting body I think I've ever done. I'm not happy with the chassis, how the body's a bit long with how the wheelbase is for the chassis, but you know, like, people like Beetles, so it's just like, nah, get over it. It's been reasonably popular in Australia. This is our next season race body. This is a Toyota Starlet GT. I think it's the KP60 with flares. Yeah, this is on TFX. So what we've done, because this is a bit wider, than the Beetle. So what I've done is I've put spaces in, widened it out, so it actually fills out the guards. So I think this is knocked out to about 31mm wide, or 30.5, and these are about, I think they're about 29. This is a late 60s, early 70s model GA Galant with square, like the rectangle headlights. This is on a T-Dash chassis, so this is modelled off a T-Jet. It's got a couple of fray bits on it, or E-fray, because it's got RT-Ho rear rims on it, and RT-Ho slip-on silicons. I've got 6 of these cars that match. They run really consistent together. We've done a few races with these. They've been pretty popular. And then this one here. So this is a 4-gear chassis. Why 4-gear if you don't know? Because there's 4 gears on the top. That's pretty easy. So it's an Auto World chassis. I've got a bit of a thing for the AFX truck, so I got this one, removed the sleeper cab, ended up compacting the thing as much as possible and resin casting it. Anyway, so the deal was, I got to the end of this thing and I've made this cab thinking, oh yeah, we'll race these, or might even make a back for it and then make a short trailer. But the fact of the matter is, this thing, you can literally turn it up to 26 volts and just run flat strap without taking your finger off the trigger with these traction mags, and it's just boring to drive because it just handles too well. So one of my things with the Auto World 4-gear, if I take these back, the magnets out of the back with these silicon tyres they've got here, and the axle chatter, they're absolutely horrendous to drive. So without the magnets, they're terrible. Even with just one, they're just not good. But I still want to race these things, but the rear axle holes need fixing, and I reckon find a way to put rear bushes in or fix that slop, and then I can pull these out and put a set of foam tyres on them. And then I reckon that these will be a bit of a winner, because the front will hold down, be able to put foam tyres in the back. And yeah, look, if no one's worked it out by yet, I've got a lot of projects going on. I've got a lot of things going on. My brain's all over the place. I, start something, move on. But if there's something in particular you want to see, and there's something you want to see me do, or move, comment, ask me, like, you just go, well, how you going with this or whatever, like, because sometimes people remind me of things that I've forgotten about. But still obviously going to be moving on the track. Still buying my collector cars, because I don't mind a few. Still working on the Holy Grail. I'm going to strengthen the inside of the Elf up, and then cast it so it's got the extra wheel and everything attached, and try and see if I can do that in resin cast to go on some G Plus chassis. And then I've got hang on. Okay, back. I also have this Ford Capri. So I started thickening this thing up, because these things are just weak. So where the little exhaust goes on the side that was all snapped out, I've just cleaned that up so it's just flush. Still got a bit more work to do on this thing, and then I will resin cast this, and I'll probably lower it a bit. This is just on a bits of magnet traction, because it hasn't even got matching wheels front and rear. But yeah, these things I reckon look pretty good painted up. So then I need to get stuck into liveries more. So like I've got a couple of these Murder Valley ones that I've done, a few hand painted jobs where I've just rushed through for racing, a few colour fades. The G Ready thing, I did this with a bit of paper on the back. Like that's literally just computer paper, and that was a bit rough. But I need to get back into that high ace, and I need to change that so it fits a Bulldog chassis, because it's not quite right. I made it very specifically for a turbo, and since then I've moved on to Bulldogs. I can't see the point in turbos anymore. They used to be my favourite chassis. So on other bodies that I'm working on, is there any love for a Toyota Dyna? It's like a Euro racing truck body that I've lengthened out, and then it's got a Toyota Dyna on it. I used to have a the front spoiler and side skirts, like just little flat landings around the bottom, but I wanted to get it lower. Now this is to fit on a Mega G Plus 1.7. Let's I don't know. It needs something. I just don't know what. I don't know if a rear spoiler would help. I thought about putting a rear spoiler off the back of the cab. Something a bit like what's on the back of the High Ace. Not sticking up, just sticking out. I don't know. Tell me what you think about that. Give me some ideas. I've sort of hit a stalemate on that one. I got some other random things over here. Here we go. Because I got a million things on the go. How about an Aeromax? Is there any? So I've done. Morgan Aeromax. I put flares on it to fatten it out so it looks right over the top of a Mega G Plus chassis. What do you reckon? Would you love to see something like that? I think the reality is, for anyone that thinks that I'm ever going to go into mass production of this stuff, I think you're kidding yourself. I'm not in business to sell slot cars. I do this stuff because I'm interested, and I just like weird stuff. I make the tyres. I don't really sell them in large volumes. I'm not really interested in selling them in large volumes. I've got better things to do than sit out here at the garage making tyres. But I make enough to make it interesting for me, because I just like using them. But I like racing with them anyway. If there's race groups in Australia that want them, that's fine. But yeah, there's a few odd occasional people that have messaged me. Oh, hang on. Here we go. While we're looking at while we're looking at bodies, here's another one I'm working on. Where are we? This is... front tires are dirty on that one. Any love for this sort of stuff? I've just got to work out that I'm not happy with the way I've done the mount in the back, but let me take that off. Yeah, not really. I'm close with this. I'm close. That's probably not that far off resin casting. What's it need? Tell me what it needs. I don't know. I got heaps more. But I'll save the rest for another time. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you stayed here till the end, thanks very much. You must be a little bit interested in what I'm doing. If you're still here at the end and you haven't liked or you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But yeah. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. And yeah, hope to see you back in the next one. I'll move on to some more content. I've just been working on my real cars a little bit at the moment, and the time's been a little bit short to get stuff done, but that will change soon. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, and hopefully you come back and watch some more. All right, thank you.